Thursday night, which means
You're here.
we are always on the Twitters and many times on Facebook Live.
That's right.
And we are talking this week about education, like always. But the theme this week is video games.
What were your favorite video games growing up?
Well, when we had our Sega Genesis, I liked Sonic. But then when I got a little older, I loved SimCity and then The Sims. And then I also liked Oregon Trail and Carmen Sandiego. Those were good ones. How about you?
Growing up, mainly on my Super Nintendo, would have been things such as Street Fighter 2, Turtles in Time, Galaga, Super Mario World.
I did play Street Fighter 2 with my brother quite often.
Oh, and Tekken.
That was fun.
Tekken 3 was a lot.
What about Mortal Kombat?
I wasn't a big fan of Mortal Kombat.
I like Street Fighter better.
Street Fighter was definitely my jam.
Definitely, I would agree with that.
You know what we forgot? We forgot wine. I'll rectify that right now.
That sounds good. It's been a it's been a long day, but a good day. And then I came back and Adam just got home, and I came back and continued writing emails and all sorts of things for work as well. So that's why the wine is not out like normal. I know everyone likes to hear what we're drinking tonight. It's a local one, yes? Yes, it is. Perfect. So we'll do that first. Let me let you know, while you're opening that, let me tell them about question 1.
Yeah.
Question 1 says, video games provide continuous feedback to players. So how do you maintain a feedback loop with your learners?
Ooh, I like that.
And a feedback loop essentially means you're not just giving them feedback at the end or one time. You're continually giving them feedback.
Right.
And so I'm interested to hear what people say as far as the feedback loop that they use, because we can all learn from each other.
All right, so we're going to be doing a Syrah from Fozzie Estate up just down the street from John Cripple's house, on the shadow of Yosemite. It's Fozzie Crest. So with the crest is their reserve. So we just got it from our pickup about a week ago. The members up there. So I'm gonna open this bad boy up. Okay. So some of the people who have jumped in so far with their video game likes and dislikes. Howard Kiuna from the Bay Area says for him it's always been Galaga. For this kid who likes playing Epic Mickey and on his phone.
Epic Mickey is pretty cool if you're a Disney fan. It is pretty cool. I'm not a good gamer, so I got frustrated.
On his phone, he plays Survival Craft.
Okay.
So we have Sarah from Dinuba says she likes to kick it old school with Legend of Zelda.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yep.
It's a big one.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
Another Super Nintendo game I loved was the original Jurassic Park one. That's one of those kind of first-person shooter games.
Yes, I do remember that one.
But it was fun, really fun.
I remember that one.
It was the only real kind of first-person shooter game I ever really enjoyed. It was like so, and I was good at it too. I think I still have it too. It's called Super Nintendo was Aladdin. The Aladdin game was kind of fun too.
Jim Allen is here. Jim was at my training on Monday.
Cool.
At TCOE, and he found out about it. Guess where?
Okay,
Guess where he found out about the TCOE training?
On Twitter.
He did. So I am happy that he is here. And he brought another one of his colleagues as well. So 2 people showed up and learned a lot because I put the flyer on Twitter. So it's pretty exciting.
All right. So for feedback loop, one of my low-tech versions has been feedback tokens.
Oh, yes.
That's been surprising. People are jumping on that bandwagon. It's been surprisingly successful. I didn't think it would work, but I thought it was kind of corny and cheesy. But, depending on what the task is for the day, I'll break it up into subtasks, and the kids, have to show me their work as they go and get feedback for it. And if I say something they have to act on, okay, when you act on it, give you a token. If it's good to go, I'll give it to you right then and there, and you have to hit a certain amount, and they get more tokens for asking extra questions. So if they if they exceed their quota, that becomes extra credit. So I heard kids telling me, like, I actually want to work now. Told me that. I'm like, and now
this is high schoolers.
Yes.
So he's giving them like laminated papers,
Yeah.
which you would think would work. Oh, kinder, first grade. It's working with high schoolers. So, and you think about gaming and why kids like games. I've read about this, and anytime you get a reward like that, then it actually releases dopamine in your brain.
Yeah.
And so it gets you motivated to continue because that dopamine increases your motivation and your adrenaline. So those small rewards, so to speak, are really a big portion of the concept of gaming. And so we can use those for feedback.
Yeah, it's surprisingly.
But yours isn't just tokens. Like they have to get specific feedback, actionable, timely feedback.
If it's
from
like
you.
a note-taking thing, and they're done taking notes on a certain section of reading or section of one of my video lectures, then they have to show it to me, and I'll take a look and see if there's anything they missed.
Mm-hmm.
So if they missed it, they can go back and reread or rewind the video and look for key points they missed. When they're doing like their sketch notes, they'll have me check it, and I'll see how well that they're representing what they're learning. And I get my steps in class because of this. They're raising their, hey, Mr. Waters, check my work. And it's not natural for kids to want feedback like that.
Correct.
It's it took a little while for them to actually get the hang of it, but now they're
sure.
Hey, do I get a card for this? Do I get a card for this? I go, no. Have you fixed your work yet? No. Okay, then you don't get a card. So it's
well, and that's rewarding the learning as a process, not as a product.
Yeah. And now when I get their final products, it's a lot more gratifying to look at it because I've helped them every step of the way. And it didn't become an autopsy. It was fixing things as they go, and now their final products are much higher quality.
Mm-hmm. So question 2 already dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Question 2 says that video games began in arcades. That's the first place that you could go play video games, right? But now they can be accessed on handheld devices. So the question is, do your students have access to personal technology devices, whether it's school-issued devices or personal cell phones or tablets in the classroom, like a BYOD program, whatever happens to be? Do they have access to a device personally in the classroom, and how does this affect learning? So I'd love to hear about this, because this, even today, I still hear debate and controversy around this, that should we even go one-to-one, even if it's a school-issued device? Should we go one-to-one, or are kids going to stop talking? And I would argue that if kids are not talking because they are staring at their device all day, their Chromebook or their iPad or whatever, it's not the fault of the student. It's the way that the learning experience was designed. But I'd love to hear from others as well to hear what they say. Jennifer Scott answered the question about feedback, question 1. Jennifer Scott's out of the Bakersfield area. And she gave a shout out to Alice Keeler, who's is a Central Valley local as well, lives here in the Central Valley. She says that she took Alice's Go Slow workshop on Google Classroom this summer, and she learned how to get better, high-quality feedback, including student self-reflection, which is really key. So she said that it's been going great, but that she did have a week of feedback overload, because it can potentially take a long time to give feedback. When I had my students would write literally every day. And when I taught 6th grade and they started writing quite a bit more, it'd be, almost a page, some of them. And if they're writing every day, do I really have want to spend the time at home when I should be spending time with my son to be grading all of that and giving specific feedback? No. So what I would do, but that doesn't mean I don't want to continue having them write. So it was once a week. I will randomly select one file, whether it's Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, whatever, and that's the one that I would provide specific feedback on, and it worked. So it was a good strategy that kept me sane, so to speak, in giving feedback.
All right. So how having the devices affect learning? Well, for the most part, I don't think we even have one student that doesn't have some sort of device, like a phone or something, in their possession somehow.
Like as in the classroom or
Just on their
outside?
own.
Always.
Always.
Got it. Okay.
In the classroom, we're one-to-one on Chromebooks.
Okay.
So that allows the kids to be more efficient. And it allows me to give feedback quicker. I gather data faster, and I can gamify my instruction and assessment.
Mm.
So that makes a huge difference. Huge difference than if it's just straight up paper and pencil all the time.
We got any other answers on that, Adam?
Oh no, we're a little slow right now.
It's so let me tell you. Let me ask you a question about this, Adam.
Yes.
I was at a site today, and the teachers are just tired. Like they said that they said the students are just kind of like losing motivation, and that it's just a tough time right now for that. And I said I think it's the time of year, and I'm wondering if you would agree.
Well, it's the change in seasons right now. The weather's starting to change. I mean, we just hit fall, so that's always just a natural thing to be a little more tired. And I'm more tired all the time now this time of year. But yeah, we're all busy. I was hustling around just trying to get my daughter to catechism and pick her up on time and get back here for this and make sure they're fed. And a lot of times right now you have soccer practice for most people. So this is like youth soccer season right now. So there's a lot of people doing soccer practice right now and other things. I mean, like usually on Tuesdays, my middle daughter has Ariel. She's got Tuesdays gymnastics, Wednesday catechism. My oldest Ashley has CrossFit on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's it's always something. And then it's getting darker a lot quicker, and that kind of makes you feel a little bit more tired. So it's natural this time of year.
I agree.
I mean, it's a long stretch from Labor Day to Veterans Day.
Yeah, I feel
stretch.
October's the hardest, and we're getting. That's when I usually see kids and teachers kind of starting to get burnt out, so to speak, a bit. I'm going to let the dog in. Why don't you tell everyone what Jennifer Scott, how she chimed into this conversation?
Jennifer Scott says when it comes to feedback, she likes to ask kids what they want feedback on. That way she doesn't step on toes and she meets the students' needs.
Oh, that's good.
So it's like getting feedback on feedback.
Okay, so I have to tell you about this great, this is not something I expected. I was in a math class, and the teacher said, first thing you do, come in the class, get out your Chromebook, get out, whatever supplies. And so the students were completing a form. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I wonder what this form is. So I walk over to see one of the students. It was a form that he asked each kid to fill out right then and there at the beginning of class. They're going to have an assessment on Friday.
Okay.
And it said, what do you understand the most? What do you have questions about? What can I help you about? How do you feel about this concept? How do you feel about this concept? So then what he did was as they're filling out the form, as the answers are coming in, and it wasn't judgment. It was like, I want to help you, and I need to know how to help you. And you might not want to say in front of the class, I don't get something, but then they had like review time, and they were going over some Google Slides he had sent them and practicing some problems. And so he was able to look at that spreadsheet and say, I know this kid needs support in this, and I know this kid has a question about this, but it didn't seem like, high schoolers, they don't want to look dumb in front of their peers.
Yeah.
And so they're not going to raise their hand and say, I don't understand something. So I thought that was an awesome way to be, like, he started the assessment before he even began the day.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. I hadn't seen anything done quite that
that's
way.
Real formative assessment.
Yes. And so, of course, I wrote an amazing Post-it note
That's not
about
something that goes in your school or district data system.
No, it doesn't. But he is going to impact those students' achievement and their learning so much more that way.
So question 3 says, eSport players often bring their own remote controllers to gaming tournaments. In what ways do you encourage students to personalize and own their learning?
Did you know they do that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a soccer player bringing their cleats.
Right. We have Michael Horton from Menifee on the chat. I did a Twitter save and put the hashtag in there.
Nice.
And he says that they're a 612 school. So the middle schoolers have access in classes. High schoolers check out Chromebooks to take home. Oh, to take online college courses. Cool. And if a middle schooler doesn't have tech at home, they provide it. So they are working to bridge that digital divide. Really, I find it's a digital use divide now, not a digital divide.
That's right.
Of access. And that difference between a digital divide and a digital access divide and digital use divide is documented not only just like in our own experience, but you also see it in the National Education Plan. So when it first came out in 2012, 2014, something like that, it talked a lot about getting access, digital access, kids needing devices, kids needing Wi-Fi, kids needing broadband. Now, if you look at the National Office of Education, Education Plan, it's not about access anymore. Yeah. Now it's about, do the kids know how to use it? Do the teachers know how to empower the kids to use it? Is it just being used for games? I know that today's chat is about video games, but it's not about putting kids on Lexia, Prodigy,
Cool Math
Freckle.
Games.
Cool Math Games, which has very little, if any, math. Yeah, exactly. So
if you think about it, video games, like, kids are intrinsically motivated to succeed and learn.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Correct.
And there's so much that we can glean from the video game system. And
Agreed.
Video game has a stigma. Oh, it's gonna rot your brain. But these kids are actually problem solving.
No, they really are.
They're iterating. I mean, when they're doing that. I remember my dad telling me when I was a kid, you just rot your brain doing that. I'm like, well, I would tell him, I'm like 9. Dad, I'm problem solving. I mess up and I'm figuring it out. It's developing resilience. And if there's any way we can pull some of that into our teaching, then, we're doing best for what's best for kids right now. So it's so easy to demonize something like that, or to demonize cell phones. But I digress.
Yeah. So Kim is here now. Kim she's now working in Madera Unified.
Mm-hmm.
But she's here. She said she's sorry she's late, no problem. But that her favorite video game is the original Super Mario on Nintendo.
Yep. I think it's like the first for everybody. It's everyone's first game. Very few people.
Not me, because my parents didn't let me have it. We had to wait till Sega came out.
So you were playing Sonic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was a good one.
All right. So go back to question 1. Kim Calderon says, I think continuous feedback can be hard, but remember that feedback can be as simple as walking by a project and asking a question is very helpful.
I love it.
Yep. Yeah, you don't need to give, like, some people think feedback, I need to have a rubric. I need to give my feedback based off a rubric.
Not always.
That's what people think it is.
Not always.
They think that's all it is.
Yeah.
Now
that being said,
be, but that's more of a different kind of like it.
It's different.
Yeah.
So I did answer question 3 by talking about a rubric because in allowing kids to own their learning and personalizing the experience,
mm-hmm.
giving them multiple means of representing their content, of their learning. But if you do that, it can't be, hey, just make something fun about Egypt. No, here's the things that you need to include, like an academic rubric, and then whatever way, and I know you do something similar when you let kids make their playtime videos, so to speak. Yes, this is in high school, right? Where they are like role-playing a war with Legos and army guys and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so things like that, of a certain battle or whatever. So, all right, so question 4 is going to be dropping in less than a minute.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's exciting.
Actually, my playtime video, I'm doing them more often now. It's
How?
part of my weekly kind of my RTI thing.
But you don't have cell phones in the classrooms.
Well, trust me, I know.
So then how do you
Now
do that? I don't understand.
the videos are not nearly as good as they would be if I was allowed to let the kids use their phones. But we are making it work, air quotes, with the Chromebook camera. Even the Chromebook camera.
But then you can't do green screen.
You can't do green screen. You can't do
AR? No AR?
Into the AR. I do have my iPad, and kids will fight to get to my iPad so they can use that because.
By the way, that's your personal iPad,
Yes.
not the school's.
Yes, they didn't provide me one. They said we can't have kids using phones, even though they're making cool stuff like that. But they're doing their best, and I had to tell them, nope, that's a school rule now. I can't let you use it. Sorry. So. Back to my point.
Yes.
Was that I use those videos now as weekly with the RTI, so the kids who've mastered that previous week's essential question, well, now they get a chance they can work ahead on their project because due that week, or for extra points they can make the video. So they've made that. They have that choice. I've also thrown in some geography games because kids nowadays don't know anything about geography.
They don't.
So I found this really cool kind of puzzle geography games online that go, every time that you pass one with 70% or better, I'll give you a feedback token.
Hey.
If you meet your quota, then you're good to go for that day.
You know about CNN 10?
I do.
CNN 10 I thought was pretty cool. I was not aware of that. So it's 10 minutes every day of news, high school level. I would say maybe middle school.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
What?
You think it would be appropriate for middle school?
Yeah.
So anyway, I was in actually a special ed class, a high school class. And so the teacher said that a lot of them have auditory processing disorders. And so he thinks it's really important to give them practice in listening and then trying to comprehend and synthesize the information, right? So he does CNN 10 every day, and it's like 2 or 3 minute segments. So like they lose focus real quickly. No problem. You want to watch 2 minutes, then we stop it. We talk about what you learned, right? But as they're doing it, they're taking notes on their Chromebooks. But what's cool is some were taking it on the Chromebook, some were handwriting it, and he says, I don't care. But as far as accessibility, he had a student in one period class say, hey, can you turn on closed captioning? It's easier for me to understand. So he said, sure. And so now he turns on closed captioning in all the class periods, and the kids say it really helps them. So that's one example of how technology really makes content, like grade level content, accessible for all of our learners. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go check on the kids right now.
Okay.
Not meaning you, dogs.
Yes. So let's see here. Question 4 is dropped, and it says, video games continue to evolve to meet the interests of players. How have you adapted your instruction to meet the interests of students? How have you adapted your instruction?
What do you think of that question? Me?
Yes.
I know that even in the way I deliver, like I start a protocol, for example. So like if I'm in a 1st through 3rd grade class and I'm talking about digital communication with, Google Classroom's Create Question feature and how they're going to have conversations together, I start by asking them if they play Roblox because most of them do. And if I'm in older kid class, like 3rd grade to like 6th grade, then I'll ask them about Fortnite, right? Or what other things are they on? So I don't know if I would say, that is their interest, but it's a matter of trying to help them make connections because the neuroscientists have found that if we make connections in the brain during new learning, then that learning is going to be more likely to be sustained. So, and Ashley here, say hi, Ashley.
Hi.
So,
You feeling better, Bennett?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Ashley has helped me to better understand 3rd graders because I ask her what she likes. And you like Roblox. So then when I'm in a 3rd grade classroom, I'm able to talk about that. But not all kids are the same, but it's nice for It's because like a lot of your friends like Roblox too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that helps with that. So Ashley, what have you in your classroom, either this year or last year or anything? Did you have any? And there's Ariel. Ariel, say hi. She's also a Roblox
Hi.
player. So both of you. The question's for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything in your classroom that you're like, oh, that's like something I like. That's cool.
Cursive.
What cursive?
No, that's not.
You like cursive. Is there anything like that you're like, oh, that reminds me of something I like from home or
Wait,
something?
no.
No? None of your interests?
Wait.
I'll do some PD with your teachers.
Not
Don't worry.
cursive.
How about like, do they ever talk about like Roblox?
No.
Oh, just me.
What?
I'm the only one. Okay.
And we need to teach them about Roblox. Man.
Because I do that. I talk to the kids about
More
Roblox.
interesting.
Do they ever talk about like poop emojis? No.
Sure.
Do they ever talk
Like,
about?
you guys should like
okay.
you guys should like read something, and then they should throw an emoji up there.
Yes.
And you have to find evidence of something in that. What
We
you
do
read.
evidence and infer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Emojis are good for that.
Okay, I bet though, I do know when we went to back to school night, you did draw pictures and write about your family.
Yeah. I even drew Dylan.
Yeah, you drew
did-
Dylan.
you did-
Yeah, so I
you
mean
drew Tupac
that's,
too.
I think that's,
I drew Tupac. And Poopsie.
so I think that's on the right
Ow.
track. I think the teachers are on the right track.
Yep.
They just, one of the ways I learn about my students is I just listen. I listen to their conversations. How about you, Adam?
Yeah, I mean I'm pretty aware of the songs they like. I mean,
Right.
Of course, I don't like their music.
Okay,
so I make fun of
peace
it,
out.
but it does.
But
It does. Spark some conversations. But knowing, I mean, I always go back to that Adam Welcome quote. The can't teach Wi-Fi kids with the landline strategies. So you think of kids today, they consume their entertainment differently than we did. We had to be in front of the TV at a certain time, and if
Yes.
you missed it, you missed it.
This is a streaming culture.
Yes, they're used to binge watching and having complete control over
Yeah.
what they watch. So it's like, we're still delivering instruction the same way that, we used to consume TV. You better be there this time, and you better get it now because you're not going to get it again. We're not going back. That's just the way it was for us growing up. Now these kids, they're not wired that way. They're used to being in control of when they're going to watch something and consume something, and we need to kind of bring that into the classroom. So I mean, like for me, that's why I prefer a blended model, not a flip model. In my class,
I agree.
I pre-record everything, but they're gonna watch those recordings of me teaching of my lessons in class, and that puts a pause button on me. They're able to rewind me. The ELs can put on subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that's what their expectation of what they expect out of their personal lives, and they come into class expecting that, and I don't think we do a good job overall. Really honoring that. We kind of scoff at it.
Yeah.
We,
We wrote an article about that, but we never submitted it to anything.
it's true.
It's right here.
Maybe-
I keep leaving it here in case someday I'll think of a place to submit
Why
it
don't we
to.
just put it on our blogs?
Because it's really long,
So it's okay.
and I think it would be better. See how long that is? I think it would be better for an article.
We do both.
Anyway, so that's why. That's the
Oh,
reason.
Judy Blakey from Orange County just jumped on. Yeah, she's grading some papers right now,
That's right.
but she is getting on. I was calling her out because I figured she's either grading papers or watching the Dodgers when she should be on CV Tech Talk. Judy Blakey.
There's no should. That's not nice. We are here all the time for whenever you choose to engage based on your needs. If you need to be with your family, you need to be watching Dodgers and don't want to be distracted and want to not think about work, that's fine. If you do
Judy
want
Blakey
to,
is a
we're
Google
always here.
certified innovator from Sydney, Australia, like me.
Yep.
So she can do both.
That is true.
That's right.
Um,
Unless she's taking care of her grandson, that's a different thing.
that is true.
Yes.
Hey, question 5 just dropped.
Yes, and it says educational computer games entered classrooms in the 1980s on the Apple IIe, my very first computer. What, if any, educational games do you use in the classroom? Why or why not? Well, I use almost daily Quizlet Live and Quizzes. I mean, you can get so much out of that.
Okay,
I use that together as my own spin on the Fast and Curious protocol.
I have a question about Quizlet Live.
Okay.
Because, and if anyone on the that's watching can provide input as well, I'd be
Okay.
interested. So with Quizlet Live, I had a paid version on my like work account.
Mhm.
I paid for it, and then I had a free version on my personal account. So I used the personal account, and Quizlet Live no longer worked when I was like in the moment when I was trying to do a PD. I was trying to do a Quizlet Live, and it stopped working. Like it wouldn't work because it says I had to upgrade to the paid version. And so I was like all disappointed. I was so upset, blah, blah, blah. Well, then I was in a teacher's classroom today who said she's never paid for it and she still has access.
Well, the Quizlet, the live version.
I'm talking about the live part.
Like the very basic live version where you just, okay, here's the definition, then give you the terms. That is on the free version now. Now the other version, there's other, the paid version gives you a few more options.
But it should have worked.
Live. Yes, it should have worked. The thing is, I learned, I didn't know they had changed that. It was funny. I'm doing my session.
What do you mean changed? So how's it
used
different?
to be where if you wanted live, you had to pay for it.
No.
That's why I subscribed to it years ago.
No, they tricked you. I thought I had to pay for it, but you really didn't because I had teachers. Well, maybe it was different
when
years.
I originally started it, like in 2016,
okay.
You had to pay for it. So I was like, well, this is worth it. I'll pay 35 bucks. Great investment. And, you know, I was kind of under that assumption. So I'm at Q in the big room doing my session. I did that copier session. And part of it was, hey, you know, I was demonstrating Quizlet Live or talking about it and how they can use that, you know, as a way of, you know, formative assessment and get kids up and talking. And they kind of like, they go to me like, hey, we want to try it. So all right, I just pulled one out real quick. I go, yeah, you need to pay for it. And like three people are like, no, you don't have to pay for it anymore. Like, you can do the Quizlet Live now. I'm like, oh, well, just learn something new. I'm the presenter, learning from my
That's
attendees.
the thing.
It was great.
I learned two things today. I learned the CNN 10 thing. You know, you should have told me about that.
What?
You already knew about it.
I did tell you. I have told you.
When?
Many times. I thought,
no, I don't think many times.
Actually, I was so like shocked by it that I found out from someone who told me my session. I told you right out. You were in the session, and I told you, yeah, you were.
Which one?
You were this year at Q.
No way.
Yes, you were. You were sitting in the back with.
Oh, I was multitasking.
Kim.
That doesn't count.
You and Kim were being bad attendees.
Yeah, well, that doesn't count then. You didn't have my attention. Anyway,
you were taking pictures while they were doing it.
Right, I was tweeting out. I was giving you some social media love. So I also learned about, where is it? I wrote it down. Oh, dang it. Oh, I learned about Judy. I learned about a new free computer science curriculum to look into, developed in part by Beth Simon from UC San Diego, who was on the, she does good work though. But it's called learntomod.com. Learntomod.com. So I want to check it out. It's aligned to the standards, of course, and all that. But where's the thing that sciencegeek.net. Okay. You need to share this with your science teachers. Sciencegeek.net. Essentially, it's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Has the sounds. It's perfect.
They got that for history.
And it's free. No, because like the teacher I talked to, he and this other guy like created it. Okay. They like built this whole like curriculum-based sciencegeek.net. So yes, Judy, two things to check out. If you work with any science teachers, sciencegeek.net. Did you find it?
Yeah.
So for different subject areas or whatever. Where's the game? Other resources, maybe?
Review?
Maybe. Interactive activities? I don't know. It was really cool. He showed me. Oh, yeah, these guys just made this. I was super impressed. And then, like I said, Judy, the other one was learntomod.com. He showed me that too. I don't know which one was but it's like totally Who Wants to Be a Millionaire style and really cool. So you can't see it on here. I wonder if it's only for the AP ones. I wonder if it's like at the end. What was that red thing down there? The format of the Millionaire Game. Boom. Whatever, just start. You're going to hear the sound and everything if you had the sound on. See? I'm sure they broke so many copyrights by doing this.
The cell membrane.
Oh, I shouldn't say it out loud.
Hydrophobic.
I don't know this stuff. Is that kind of cool? Okay.
Sugar. Darn it. I lost.
You guys hear that? You hear that?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Anyway, you've got AP Science teachers you can share that with.
Yep. I want to send this out to them as we speak right now.
So I agree with you, Adam, that the gaming platforms that I use with students are, Quizlet Live, quizzes, places where they get feedback, but they are being collaborative and creative and, well, not really creative in those particular games, but they're at least like they're communicating and being collaborative as opposed to like Prodigy or as opposed to like AR. Yeah, or like that kind of stuff. Cost $29.99.
What does?
Oh no. Really? Judy, let me check that because I just had heard about it. I thought it was free. Well, that's a bummer. I mean, if it's a whole curriculum, maybe that's not so bad, but but yeah, it's with Minecraft for educators. Oh man. Oh, it says it's free for teachers.
Okay.
Yeah. Teach computer science for free with us. Grant your students access to create their own free Learn to Mod account. So maybe it costs money for like individuals, but it's saying here that for mine, I'm looking here and it says that for teachers, it's free. So it looks like, yeah, so I don't know. I went to Minecraft for educators,
Mark
Judy,
Vandemortel
and it says free.
From the Netherlands is on.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Nice.
Google innovator, and I believe he's an Apple Distinguished Educator as well, man.
Oh, cool.
So Mark's the man. Thanks for joining us from the other side of the world. It's like, should it be like early morning over there or like 4 a.m.?
I don't know.
I believe so.
I bet there's an app. I bet Google could tell us.
Okay, Google. What time is it in Amsterdam?
The time in Amsterdam, Netherlands, is 4:41 a.m.
Oh, he's up early, man. I mean, that's if Mark is
or
actually,
up late.
Yeah, he's up really late or he's up really early. So thanks for joining us, Mark, out here in sunny Central California. Question 6 just dropped, and it says, expansion pack options keep players interested in a particular game. How do you maintain student interest in a unit of study? I hear expansion pack. All I can think of is the expansion packs for Cards Against Humanity. That's immediately where my brain went.
That's not what we're talking about, particularly in the education setting.
Yes, that would not be
right.
I bet we could adapt that for education.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a good idea.
No, we don't have to make it all cochino like them, but I'm sure we could probably.
We would have to make
that's
it.
a challenge of mine. I'm not challenging myself to do that.
Oh, look, Kim Calderon played Oregon Trail.
Mm-hmm.
Love Oregon Trail, and her favorite game is Quizlet Live. She says she uses that in the classroom.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting. And
What's
the
cat
animals
doing?
over there.
Oh.
The cat and the puppy are playing,
Oh, yeah.
and the dog is supervising.
Yes. Watch out, Bailey. You're going to get ambushed by the cat.
All right.
All right.
I lost the question. Here it is.
How do you maintain student interest in a unit of study?
It's a good question, huh?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like each unit, I have like a culminating learning demonstration, some kind of project that they have to build towards. So like each part of the unit, they have to take information from there to create something larger. Usually it's a video. I mean, a lot of times I'll go to the I'll go back to those playtime videos. So if there's like when we study World War II, there's so many parts to that. So they learn about each facet of World War II, and then they have to kind of reenact each kind of facet somehow. So that's having them kind of keep that in the back of their mind.
I just typed an answer to Judy, but it says your name. So Judy, I answered, not Adam, even though it has his picture and name. I used his account. Is that bad digital
She didn't
citizenship?
even ask me, and I'm her husband.
I didn't, but it's right here. You had your computer open and you had your account open.
I was like,
So
I
that-
was watching you just like in shock, like how dare
You were not.
How
So
dare
that,
you?
so that is the digital citizenship lesson, my friends. Is not that I was a bad digital citizen, but that Adam, if he didn't want me to type using his account, shouldn't have left it open and should have had a more powerful password, right? Or maybe we should all just keep post-it on our computer with all of our usernames and passwords on it, so that when our students come by, they can take a picture and take things out of our buy things on Amazon. That may or may not have happened in a 4th grade classroom that I, luckily I don't even remember what school it was, so I'm not throwing anyone specific under the bus. I honestly don't even know what school.
So one thing I did
But it's a real thing.
One thing I did last year to help kids maintain interest was, based on whatever we were studying in class, I would do like after school movies, so it's extra credit. So I could go ahead and bring all your snacks and your popcorn, and I'd have like a reflection sheet for them to fill out. We'd for like an hour, so it's a 2-hour movie, then we'd go over a couple days, but that would get kids more interested. Like especially when we did like Cold War, we'd watch like 13 Days After School. We watched. I did let them watch. I have high school kids, so I can get away with stuff. Well, Andrina's on Google right now, so
That's right.
I think we watched Pearl Harbor too. I mean, it's not factually correct, but
But then you can talk about that.
But they get a feel of, like the action. Like, so I mean, some of the fight scenes were actually pretty well done, and they did actually use some actual real footage, a few scenes here and there. So it was kind of cool for them to kind of see that. So we talked about it, and I told them this is all about the love story, but you get a feel of like the shock and horror of being attacked, at Pearl Harbor. So we watched that one and a few other ones. So
question 7 just dropped.
okay.
Easter eggs. You know what Easter eggs are in gaming? Anyone?
Movies.
They are surprise content,
Mhm.
right? That's found in a game. As you're like exploring. So you have to actually explore in order to find this Easter egg typically.
Mhm.
So how do you use anticipation, like, I'm going to find something new, or mystery to spark student interest? Like, do you drop? You know what I do in my presentations is I tell people, just start clicking around on my slides. You might find links to, because the images will be like, I'll have like a Quizlet logo and it takes them to quizletlive.com or quizlet.com. And there I'll have like, have like a link to an article or a blog post or something like that. So there's like Easter eggs embedded into the presentations I do. So these animals are so high maintenance. This dog wants to go outside again. Crazy. Adam, I was in a professional learning session you were leading and you were talking about a teacher that did some sort of Easter egg thing, remember?
I did?
Yeah, you made it up on the fly, but it was a great idea.
No, that's something that I made up during that session. I just said it.
Right.
And then I went and did it, and it worked out great.
No, but it was an Easter egg idea,
Yeah,
wasn't
so
it? That's what I'm saying.
was
Go ahead,
using
go on.
the Note Anywhere Chrome extension, which
Yes.
allows you to leave digital sticky notes on any website that you're at, and then it bookmarks it for you. So using a whole class login account, so every kid logs in on the Chromebook with the same account. I give them a link to go to a website, and then if they read far enough into it, that they're going to find these little sticky notes on there that give them clues to where to go next. So it's that was kind of fun. But as far as mystery and anticipation, I one time I want to do it again. I haven't gotten back to it. Was what we learned from that infamous road trip back from CapQ in 2016 with Carippo.
Mm-hmm.
When we were, he made us watch the
J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, TED talking about the mystery box.
Yes.
So I've done that. I did that one time, and they just like, "What's in there?" I go, "Don't worry about it." What's in there? Don't worry about it. And I'm like, all right. Then I do a breakout EDU.
Yeah.
I do. So I would kind of do a kind of.
But you got to build that anticipation.
I would do like a physical, like a blend of a physical and digital one.
Yeah.
Where each time they got a clue, they would earn a one number to the combination. So And then the very last one was like they would have to put the numbers in the right order for the combination. So it made it a little harder. So like Breakout ADU was great for that. And I see like a lot of people doing now, the new fad now is like make your classroom into an escape room, which is pretty much Breakout EDU, but in a different format.
Yeah. Because Breakout EDU is really breaking into a
Yes,
box.
yes.
It really should be called Break In
Yes.
EDU. I'm just saying.
Is Mark Cameron's watching?
I mean, SMP number something. Attend to Precision, Standards of Mathematical Practice. For those of you that don't know the acronym, we have so many acronyms in education.
Yes.
So many. I think we need some more. I learned a new one. I learned a new one a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
CSI.
CSI.
Yeah, I was like, crime scene investigation? I don't really understand. So here in California, you know what DA is? You might not.
District Attorney?
No. So DA, well, you remember what PI was.
Pass interference.
In education, program improvement. So the new PI is now DA, which is differentiated assistance. Okay, so that's for a district. CSI, I don't even know what it stands for, is for a site.
I don't get it. CSI, what is this?
Well, like you could be in PI as a school and or as a district. So like when I was at Palm, we were not in PI as a school, but Cutler-Orosi was in PI as a district.
Yeah,
So now they have two different acronyms for that concept at the state level.
So what does CSI stand for?
I don't remember. Did I really care?
I don't think so.
No, like if I really needed to, I could look it up. Like, is anyone going to ask me, hey, Catherine?
Ask Jeeves.
Yes, I'll go to Ask Jeeves. That's a very good idea.
That's still there. I'll go look at it.
Oh, yes. What about Excite? Actually, Alta Vista is the one I use the most.
It's just ask.com. It's still there.
Oh.
It's still there. All right, let's see.
I know people still use Yahoo search or Bing.
AltaVista.com. No, it takes you to Yahoo.
Yahoo bought out Alta Vista.
Okay, what else is there?
Excite. I have a feeling that's not going to be there.
That might be something inappropriate.
No?
It's still there. Excite is still there. Wow.
Oh, the dog one.
You can still
There was one with a dog that you could search. What was that called?
I used to use Excite to make websites.
What was that called? With the
Dog.
is it a dog that's searching? I remember the commercials, and it was like a dog digging, like getting a bone or something.
Bing. I haven't looked at Bing in years.
I was in a teacher's classroom today that was using Bing.
Bing is telling me that I can transport my homepage with their Chrome extension. Bing on Chrome.
That's funny. That's funny.
That is hilarious.
Very funny. Yeah.
It looks like I go to Bing and I'm logged into my Microsoft account.
Hey, it's less than a minute away from question 8.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Doing some reminiscing.
So we're talking about video games right now. So I want to tell a story.
Okay.
So my brother loved video games, but hated reading.
Mm-hmm.
Struggled, was in, RSP, auditory processing disorder. So, very behind of the average, which is a myth. Don't get me started on that. So he decides, as he's learning about video games, to purchase, like for Christmas or something, he gets Electronic Gaming Monthly. It's a magazine. It's delivered to the house every month. This kid learned to read. The vocabulary of these magazines was way above what he was able to read.
But
he would come to me, because I was his older sister, and he would ask me what words were, all this stuff. It was not his level. That was not his AR level at all.
It's going to be his AR level.
No way. He learned to
has
read.
To be the reading
He
level.
learned to read. And so that's why AR and leveled reading
Sucks.
is bull. True story.
Mm-hmm.
Fetch. Oh, Judy said it's Fetch, the dog thing. Oh, it's not that anymore?
Some weird app, like for dog food stuff now.
Oh,
I looked it up.
okay.
All right. Question 8 just dropped in. It says multiplayer games allow players to collaborate with others from across the globe. How do you foster student collaboration in your classroom and beyond?
Does anyone do mystery Skypes anymore?
Yeah, unless you're hanging out. Someone does Skype.
Well, whatever. Same thing.
Yeah, people do. Yeah.
I don't see it on Twitter as much as I used to, and so I'm wondering if it's just a fad that kind of went away.
No, it's still done.
Do you see it on Twitter? Where do you see it? How do you know it's still being done?
Twitter moves so fast. I follow so many people.
Hmm.
I follow as many people as follow me, so it's like that's a lot.
I follow more people than follow me.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard. But yeah, I'll see people talking about Mystery Skypes and Hangouts
Hmm.
time to time in the good old Twitter feed.
What really bothers me is that the Connected Classrooms Workshop Google
Oh, yeah.
Plus is gone because that had
We need to recreate that on Facebook.
oh yes,
I
because it
wonder if
had
it is on Facebook. I'm gonna go
good
look.
question. Yeah, it had over 40,000 educators that wanted to do like global collaborative projects with their kids. So they'd be like, I'm a 3rd grade teacher, and my students
Yes,
are reading.
it has a Facebook page.
Oh my
Facebook
goodness!
group. Just found it. Boom,
How many
joined.
people? How many people
400,
are on it?
only 408.
Oh,
So
we got to spread the word.
Yes.
Spread the word, guys. Spread the word. So,
it's called Connected Classrooms. Google it, or
explain
search it on Facebook, and it's a group you can join.
about it for those that don't know.
So if, let's say, you wanted to connect your kids with somebody else across the world, you can just go into that Google Plus group and just drop a request. Say, hey, I'm so-and-so from here. This is what I teach. You know, I like to do like a mystery Skype or hangout with somebody about this topic. And then within minutes, someone's like, oh, yeah, I do that same thing. Well, let's do it. And, you know,
Amazing.
The last time we did it, we had our 7th graders, who were our 7th grade Avid students, did a mystery hangout with 11th grade Avid students from New York City. And just hearing that cultural exchange within the same country was pretty amazing. Like those kids, like
So
the
different.
kids in New York were like, what, you guys like get dropped off in pickup trucks? I go, yeah. And then our kids are like, what, you guys like walk or take the bus or the subway?
Like a subway,
or
yeah.
cabs. And one kid even said Uber. You know, I went
Oh.
to school. And like our kids like, what the heck is Uber? Like, you know, this was about 3 or 4 years ago. It hadn't really come out to that part of California yet.
So it is sad though that there's only like 400 people on that.
Yeah,
So
there
we're
was
going to
like
spread the word.
25, 30,000
Yes.
in the Google Plus community.
Okay, so Judy, and I have heard a bit about this, but I'm no expert, said that there's a big thing on Microsoft for Skype activities, and you can get a certification. And I have heard that Microsoft, they've got like a certain event they do every year or something. I always see it on social media where they have like a global collaboration week or day or something. I don't know.
Hey, look who joined.
Caripo's here. Nice.
Yeah.
So that's supposed to be a pretty good one. Judy might know more about that one. This year, when I see it on social media, I'm going to pay more attention. The other thing, is it through Microsoft where you can connect with authors?
Yes.
There's a certain week,
Yes.
and you can connect with an author, and they will. Honestly, the other thing is, many authors, if you tweet them, actually, if your students tweet them and say, we're reading your book, we have some questions, many times children's books authors will do a video hangout with you. So that's also another option. Just ask people. Just ask them. What can they say? No. Hey, we got a congrats.
Yes.
Thank you.
Grazie.
We are very excited.
Yeah.
We're going to, oh, thank you. Thank you. We had a little healthy banter today.
Oh, yes.
I just found out about CNN 10, and Adam, I said, Adam, why didn't you tell me? And he said he told me way back after he presented at Q, and I said,
No,
well,
I'm seeing it. This was Quizlet Live.
No. We were
That's
talking.
what we talked
No.
about Quizlet Live.
No. I was talking about that's not what I was talking about right now. What I was talking about was our conversation where I said I learned about CNN 10 from a teacher today. Did you know about it? And you said, oh yeah, I've known about it for a long time. I told you. Remember?
No, I didn't say I told you.
You just said we should
I
go
said
back.
I told you about the Quizlet Live thing.
No.
And you weren't even there when I discovered it.
I don't think so.
I know, so
I think that we're gonna go back
We will.
to the
We're gonna
recording
record
and
this.
find out.
Yes, just like our kids need a rewind button on us in the classroom. You know,
I believe that I am correct.
you can believe it all you want. You know me. I only speak up when I know I'm right.
Hey, Cripple likes the new table too.
Yes.
It's super cool, but the process for putting it together, for me, not fun. I hate things like that.
Thank God me and Dylan were here.
Yes, because I hate it.
So back to the question 8, which is
Yes.
about fostering student collaboration in the
Yes.
classroom beyond. I think Cripple will probably like this one. So in the classroom, you know, when it comes to in the classroom with students, you know, it's pretty, you know, when I bring in Edu Protocols, you know, doing some thin slides, Iron Chef, Cyber Sandwich, which I have renamed in Erosi. You know, in Erosi, we call it iTorta. It's more Erosi, but it is a Cyber Sandwich.
That is just connecting with your students
Yes, I
that
am.
you know.
Mhm. And so
The iTorta.
that brings in some instant collaboration. But when it comes to outside, I still try to do my best to rock some mystery hangouts when possible. Now that I know that Connected Classrooms workshop is
Yes.
back on Facebook. Oh, I'm bringing this back. Yep.
Very excited.
Yep.
Very excited.
I'm bringing it back like Justin Timberlake brought sexy back. Sure.
All right. Yeah, that is a good answer. I do love that those EDGE protocols really do. It's a way to use technology where
It's
kids are
simple.
actually engaged.
And it's simple.
And they're not engaged like this, staring at their device. They're actually talking. They're collaborative.
Yeah,
It's great.
Like, it's nuts how the it's nuts how the we've our middle school has just embraced thin slides. Like it is thin slides fever right now. And like I went through a whole sixth grade. I got them going with sixth grade pretty well. And then seventh grade heard about it, and they're like seventh, eighth grade, like, oh dude, you gotta come to our PLC, we want to hear about it. So I did it, and so as soon as I did it, the content coach is like, yeah, you need to go out and start, booking some demos and some observations
Nice.
with all these teachers. So I'm in the middle of trying to book my first, cycle of demonstration observation, and the coach burst into that room looking for me. Hey, go next door. So-and-so's already trying thin slides. Like I barely just did a real quick overview of
Here's what it is,
He already tried it.
Yeah.
It was great how they just jumped on it.
I think thin slides is a great for those grade levels, like for middle school especially. I found that it's a great entry level protocol. And so like, because I went out for one day, I met with these teachers for literally a staff meeting. That's it. And we did a thin slide. And then the coach, she's a teacher, but she's like a teacher lead, right? So she came to a workshop I led. Like I was there on Thursday, met with the teachers for like 2 hours. We did thin slides first. Then she came on Monday for a workshop I was leading for an all-day workshop. She's like, Catherine, they're already doing it.
Yeah.
She said it's a K-8 school. She said the middle schoolers are the middle school teachers
Yeah.
love thin slides. So I think it's good for that
the,
grade level.
It was funny how that teacher that had just ran with it without even asking me any questions. He even like in the demo, he just kind of just went along with it and just fly on the wall and just did it. But then all of a sudden he's trying it.
Yeah.
This is one who's been, I guess he's been a little bit hesitant towards stuff and has avoided me. And now he's already doing it. And
Nice.
I went in there, I observed him with his first try at it. It wasn't too bad. He was struggling at first, like we all do.
Sure, of course.
And so I'll be in his class doing an official demo for him on Friday.
Yeah.
But it's so easy. These hesitant people just jump on it.
Yeah.
And what I like about thin slides, because the last 3 or 4 years, the big push at our middle school has been this idea of stand and deliver.
Oh,
Kids will
right.
get up and they will speak, and and teachers don't know how to facilitate that.
Mm-hmm.
And kids are afraid of it. And
Mm-hmm.
and I tell, hey, thin slides, you want to meet that portion of what the school's pushing on you, then boom, this will do it for you. Takes care of it.
Yeah.
And we've expanded on it to where we post the thin slides, the link in the Stream Google Classroom, and then as soon as they're done, all right, now what you said in your little micro presentation, now you have to put it in words and typing, and then we have them correct their grammar, and then we do a second round now where find something that someone else has said, now paraphrase it.
Yeah.
So we're just hitting so many different ways of language with these kids.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah.
I'll get off my
Here, the funny part though is that I need to time the teachers, because when I do thin slides with teachers, they go so much longer than 6 seconds. It's like, I said 6 seconds. They go on and on and on. I'm like, no, 6 seconds. The kids though, that's not the case. The kids will stick to it a lot more often, but
it's funny how just getting kids to do one slide, one picture, one word.
it's
Like
tough.
they want to put a sentence. I'm like, no,
Yep. No sentence.
no,
No sentence.
one word.
Yeah.
You're not going to read off a slide. That's going to remind you what to say.
Before I learned about the thin slides protocol specifically, I would tell teachers when kids are giving a presentation, you really want to know they know the content. I don't even want bullets. I want 0 words on that slide.
Yep.
0 words. 0. And so then you're really going to know. And they were like, oh, I said, don't let them take notes up there. Like if they really know what they studied, they'll be fine. And it made a huge difference. And then they're not reading the slides, right? That's drives,
Oh yeah.
because there are adults that read slides to participants.
Oh yeah. We can send staff meetings
Oh.
getting read to.
Or how about when there's a staff meeting and they tell you, put away your devices? You know what I say? I'm an ed tech consultant. I'm not doing that. Sorry. Actually, I don't usually say it out loud. I just refuse. And if they come over or they say something out loud, then I'm like, well, you just called me out. I'm going to call you out. But I will say where I work, that doesn't happen. we're all on our devices and it's like, and then I was talking to someone about that because I was at a staff today and I'm at a meeting in the lunchroom with some of them, and they were very offended that they were told to put their devices away when they were going through this training. And I said, as a professional learning facilitator, if people are on their devices and they're off task, I blame myself because what I'm doing is not relevant for them. Mm-hmm. So, there may be one or two that just, I get that. But like if the majority or even a few, like even a good enough minority is like getting off task, then what I'm saying is not valuable for them and I'm wasting their time enough that they think they need to go do something else. Yeah. So I that's what I said is like, who do I think I am? Like, oh yeah, put away all your devices. Like, really?
A good happy medium is that you still kind of honor their, is like, for the next few minutes, I want you to close it. Or if you have your phone out, just turn it upside down. And then, so they don't feel like they're being like, put it away. At least it's out.
That helps.
That's been better with students. Especially when I'm doing things like thin slides, Say, so as soon as you're done with this certain portion of I tell them, okay, when 3 minutes is up, once you've built your slide, close your Chromebook. That way I know you're done.
Yep.
And, so.
Okay, so that sounds like a very obvious, simple thing, right?
It's not.
So, but it sounds like a protocol that keeps kids, like keeps the pace, like very obvious. You finish something, I know that you're done when you close your Chromebook, like no big deal, right? Mm-hmm. And I was at a school site last week, and in several classrooms, that was not happening. And so I suggested this to the teacher, just tell them to close their Chromebooks. Like they just keep, you know what I mean? Yeah, like it's so simple. It's so simple. And if it does shut off, they can close it. Like I've seen teachers do it where just a certain percentage.
Ours don't shut off. Though.
Then they're learning angles because you're like, or degrees, close it, to a 35-degree angle, whatever. Yeah. But I couldn't believe, like, the funny thing is, like, it's sometimes interesting. I was at the same school. I was in a class last year, and I'm just modeling something, and we're doing coding, right? Yeah. Like we're doing this it's complicated for this teacher. Mm-hmm. And so we're doing all this coding stuff. It's going great. We're doing like narrative writing and storytelling based on the code. And they also integrated art because they drew a scene and all this. And so it was their setting. And afterwards I'm debriefing with the teacher, and she's like, what I really loved and learned from? Yeah, what? The fact that you said thumbs up if your screen looks like mine. This is lower elementary. I'm like, really?
That's what I say too.
Do you? In high school?
Thumbs up and say, okay, if your screen looks like mine, raise your hand.
Right.
I was doing that when I was teaching Blogger on Monday.
Yeah. But it's these things but that's good. That's why it's important for us to be in classrooms and not just delivering PD, because and these are things that you learn about it just by being in the classroom. So it's not like we came in knowing all this stuff when we first started teaching.
It's all stuff I
you know what I mean?
With experience.
Right. You learn it with experience. Absolutely. So, that's a good one. Judy says she uses a stoplight metaphor. Mm-hmm. Yellow is 45 degrees, red is close, green is for go. Have you heard of this? Classroomscreen.com?
No, what's this?
So classroomscreen.com, I learned about this from a teacher. And it's free, and it has a stoplight on it. It has a timer. It's like a screen that you could project onto your board or whatever. It has a random name selector. It has a decibel meter so that you can see how loud, like if the kids get, too noisy or whatever. It has, what else does it have? Oh, it has like little symbols for if you want them to be silent or whispering or talking with a neighbor or working in a group. It's pretty cool, and it's 100% free. I'm going to classroomscreen.com. And if you put your students' names in there in the tab to do the random name selector, then if you leave the tab open, it will remember it.
Interesting.
Just have to leave the tab open. It didn't work. Oh yeah, it did.
There it goes.
It did. Yeah. See, classroomscreen.com.
Check it out.
You can also do a QR code. Like if you have for Chromebooks, it really doesn't, it's not as effective or as necessary. But if you have iPads, or if students are allowed to use cell phones in your classroom, then you can have a QR code on your screen for any website that you want. So it could even be a slide deck that you are sending them or something like that. Mm-hmm. So, a background of the Sydney Opera House. There's even backgrounds that are GIFs, like calming GIFs. Like there was a fire.
Yeah.
There was like, I saw that, the ocean, you could see the waves and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
All right. Well, we are well past the hour mark, so it's been a great.
Only 9 minutes.
Yeah,
we started late.
Definitely had some good banter and a
Mhm.
robust chat discussion.
Thank you, everyone.
Interesting characters who joined in on Facebook Live and on Twitter. So
That's right.
until next week, I'm Adam.
I'm Catherine.
We are CV Tech Talk, and we will see you next week.